Republican presidential candidate John McCain is in full political battle mode. Our fourth story tonight, McCain so determined to convince working Americans that he's not a rich, out-of-touch, couscous-eating, cappuccino-sipping elitist that today he woke up early at his 15-acre Arizona ranch, took a 9-car motorcade to Starbucks, and then, sipping his cappuccino, got to work. A large cappuccino. We're not making any of that up. An unnamed McCain aide telling the LA Times, quote, "This obviously is not the conversation we intended to have. But having it they are, thanks to McCain's confession Wednesday that he does not know how many houses his family owns." McCain today put out his second damage control ad since then, claiming Obama doesn't have to worry about his family budget. If McCain has a family budget, it includes more than $250,000 on people to clean and otherwise work at his home. Details ahead. Obama today instead put out his second ad on the issue, helping McCain get his own financial house in order.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Call it country club economics. How many houses does he own? John McCain says he can't even remember anymore. Well, it's 7. No wonder McCain just said the fundamentals of our economy are strong. And anyone making less than $5 million a year is middle class. Maybe McCain thinks this economy is working for folks like him. But how are things going for you?
A quick correction of yesterday's kitchen sink attacks on Obama, by the way. He spent his Hawaiian vacation at a friend's house, not on a private beach. They're all public beaches in Hawaii. And as for Obama making $4 million last year, the Los Angeles Times reports the McCains made more than $6 million. And at last we seem to have a definitive answer to this campaign's most burning question to date. According to Talking Points memo, the McCains actually own 8 houses. Or 9, maybe 10, but no more than 11, unless you count some other ones. The Arlington condo. The condo in La Jolla on which they forgot to pay those back taxes. The home at the ranch in Sedona. The guest house at the ranch in Sedona. The servants' quarters at the ranch in Sedona. Wait, servants? Oh, yeah, the McCain budget for household help last year was $273,000. Or where was I? Oh, yeah. The vacation condo in Coronado, the other vacation condo in Coronado, the $700,000 loft in Phoenix, the other condo in Phoenix, the other condo on a different floor of the same building as the first condo in Phoenix, a third condo on the same floor as the second condo in the same building as the first condo in Phoenix, which they later combined with the second condo to make one super condo on a different floor of the same building as the first condo in Phoenix. The McCain campaign says additional houses are not homes, just rental properties. So they got that going for them. Unfortunately, a writer for the Detroit News today claims on nationalreview.com that during a December interview, McCain also had to check with a staffer to find out what kind of car he owns. A Cadillac CTS, and the missus drives a Lexus in her $3,000 suits. Let's turn now to MSNBC political analyst Eugene Robinson, also columnist and associate editor at The Washington Post. Gene, thanks for your time tonight.
Good to talk to you, Keith.
Is it better or worse for John McCain that we now seem to have an answer to how many houses he has?
Oh, I think it's worse, actually. I mean, you know, look, the impression that has been created over the last 24 hours is that John and Cindy McCain buy houses the way you and I would buy an umbrella. You know, you kind of buy it on the spur of the moment, and you forget where you left it. So this whole episode cannot be good for McCain because it brings to light a fact that I think most people didn't know, which is that you know, the McCains are tremendously wealthy. The images of him as a POW, and you kind of think of him in POW garb or whatever, but he's a very, very wealthy man.
But pikers, to the other gentleman we're going to mention now, the Time.com reporting is that they have 2 Republican sources who say he has decided on whether or not he's informed or it's final, but he's decided on Mitt Romney as his vice presidential candidate. Huffington Post reports Mitt Romney owns a home in Massachusetts, Utah ski lodge, lakefront house in New Hampshire, and also a beachfront condo in La Jolla, and at minimum his personal worth is $202 million. He owns a mansion and a yacht. Did McCain hand Obama a theme to run against through the election with the stuff about his houses, and would he just reinforce it by picking Mitt Romney at this point?
Well, I think he certainly did hand the Democrats a theme. As you and Craig were saying a few minutes ago, we're going to hear about this in Denver constantly. We're going to hear about this until November. Would choosing Romney reinforce this? Of course it would. I mean, we kind of knew that Mitt Romney was very wealthy, and it sounds as if he has a better hold on exactly how many residencies he owns than McCain does. So it probably doesn't make it a whole lot worse, but it doesn't make it a lot better, I think.
But something did get worse even as we were preparing this show. The stuff about not knowing what car he owned is now topped. His brother Joe, that's McCain's brother Joe, told a local news operation in D.C. that in the McCain families, specifically starting with their mother, the wives always handled the finances. And the quote was, "The person who took care of all the business was my mother. My father had no idea about the family business, what oil leases he owned in Oklahoma." Well, now after of all the bad answers you could come up to when that political reporter asked the question, how many houses do you own? The two worst are out, which is, I don't know, and now the other one is, I don't know, I have no experience with my own economy.
Right, and also pointing out that, well, Dad owned a bunch of oil leases in Oklahoma.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It's funny. It's the same in my family. You know, it's my mom who keeps track of the far-flung oil leases, and not my dad.
Last point on this, and this gag is inspired by my friend Tom Foti, the reporter. But should Obama announce now, in a gesture of bipartisanship, that if he is elected, he will name John McCain as his Secretary of Housing and Urban Development?
But Keith Olbermann, ladies and gentlemen, he'll be at the Venetian Room next week.
Yeah.
I guess if not Secretary of HUD, John Edwards can't be poverty czar anymore. That could be a position for him, maybe.
To ensure there's more poverty for everybody else. Eugene Robinson of MSNBC and the Washington Post. Hope you'll be joining me there in the Venetian Room in Denver. We'll see you out there and tip your waitresses. Thanks, Gene.
I'll see you in Denver, Keith.